Coming at you live from TNHQ at 110studio.la. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. What it do, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That gentleman right there is the legendary DMac_LA, Doug McCain, rocking with you. Dodger baseball is pretty much about here. How the hell you doing? How the hell you feeling?
I'm doing great. When those final seconds tick off for the Super Bowl, that is when you know it's time for Dodger baseball.
Let's talk about them final seconds.
Let's go. You know, Eagles fans, sore subject, but it really feels like baseball is so close. You had pitchers and catchers that are involved in the World Baseball Classic report today. We're a week away from going out to Arizona ourselves. So, guys, baseball is back, and we're close to really getting that Dodger baseball energy. I'm so excited.
It's going to be a good time, a great time. Anytime Dodger baseball is happening. Guys, let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation tonight. Drop into the comments. Drop them area codes. That's what we want to know. We want to know where you guys are watching from. If you're watching us tonight, it's a good time to let us know. We're going to call out some, give some shout-outs and all that on today's show. Dodgers made a couple of signings, Andrew Friedman sleeps until February, and we love that. David Peralta, longtime Dodger rival, now a Dodger. A little wild. Alex Reyes, a guy that linked to the team for a long time this offseason, now a Dodger. Old friend Ruby De La Rosa, back, now a Dodger. Let's go. Let's talk about that. Dodgers dropped a kind of weak hashtag for the year. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Get some reactions, plus the big one. Dodgers are dirty, stinky cheaters, according to one unnamed Red Sox janitor or something like that. So we want to talk about that. I want thoughts on that. We got a huge giveaway going on right now. So we're going to announce that in a little bit. Plus 3 storylines we're really excited about this coming spring training. Before we get into the show, we got to remind you this is a podcast. If you want to hear us and not look at us, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere your podcasts are available for free. I guess I should call it Apple Podcasts. It hasn't been iTunes for like a decade and a half, but I'm old. This is what we called it back then. And please do subscribe to us, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Tell your grandmama. She'll really enjoy Doug. He's a nice boy.
That's very nice.
Let's get into some of them comments, guy. What do you got?
We got Craig Osterberg rocking with us from Dodgers Nation. He's so excited for spring training as well. But yeah, it looks like a lot of people in the chat, they're ready for Dodger baseball. We got Carnivorous Lunar Activity with 2 thumbs up emojis. Yeah, so everyone's excited to get into this chat, waiting for some more chats to load, to be honest with you. But
he's waiting for the
we
chat.
got Teresa Haas from 541 Roseburg, Oregon, rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation Blue Heaven live stream. So, yeah, I feel like everyone's just itching to get this thing going. So many questions that we'll get into later. I think this is one of the more highly anticipated spring trainings because you got position battles. You have this new era with the youth movement. Will those guys step up and take those positions? We got Calvin the Goat says, what should our expectations be for this season? Hard for me to see us winning it all at this point. Baseball is a crapshoot. We know each and every year.
Look at what the Phillies did.
Philly's an 87-win team. Yeah,
you don't know what the hell's gonna happen.
That's
look
what
at
Philly,
the Braves.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead, give me a Philly thing.
Look what Philly did. They do what they always do. The MLS, Major League Baseball, NFL. They get to the finals and they just can't get it done. Save for, of course, 2018. So yeah, Phillies won some championships. But yeah, absolutely right. To get back to your questions, hard for you to see it. I think that Dodger fans, once they see this team on the field, once they see the depth at the margins, I think you consider the fact that Hanser Alberto is now Miguel Rojas on this team. Joey Gallo is now David Peralta on this team. There are massive upgrades on this team, and I think fans, once they see this team on the field, Clint, they're going to change their whole perception, and they're going to increase those expectations. I fully believe that. Will says, Clint D-Max, what's up, LA? Little fist pound. What up? I got Jam 760 Palm Springs, freezing at 69 giggity degrees.
Yeah.
Gig.
More of the comments here. I was going to say it earlier. Sarah Morris checking in from the 307. Kevin says, Fernando. I don't know what that one's about. I think we updated the title, but I don't know. Ziggy's checking in. I think you already said that one. 909. Brian says, back from Philly. I'm back from Philly Nation. I never went to Philly Nation. I just watch my damn team. A 626 in the 805. Brandon checking in. Let's go. Brandon. I couldn't help myself. 601, Michael. 909, Big Bear from Isaac. Michael wants James Outman to start. Good friend of the network. Best friend of Doug McCain. If you guys didn't watch it yet, dropped the interview over the weekend. Doug talked for 9 hours with James Outman. A bunch of good stuff, including the revelation of his best friend, a pet rock named Joe Boo.
He's a big coffee drinker, apparently.
Big time coffee boy. Hell yeah, we like that. Reptilian Way, 661 Santa Clarita. I messed that one right there. Jay Dilla checking in from Phoenix, Arizona, the new home of Kevin Durant. A whole bunch of good comments in here. Appreciate you guys checking in. We'll keep popping in along the way, but let us talk about the latest stuff going on in Dodgers Nation. Yes, the Dodgers, Andrew Friedman did what he does best. He do love being working in February. That's what they say, right? I think that was a little try hard on my part, but there was no signings for February. And then Friedman said, "Hold my beer." He goes out and, well, I mean, they inked. I like the Ruby De La Rosa one. And I appreciate producer Cody throwing that in our run of show for today, because once again, the Dodgers win another trade. They won the Aegon trade, getting De La Rosa back. James Loney remains in the organization as like an alumni dude. So, and Aegon still lives close and loves doing things with the organization. But Ruby De La Rosa, flame out pitcher, one-time top prospect. You're probably not going to see much of him. There's so many more, I don't know, I guess more preferred pitching prospect options before this dude would see a baseball. But AAA, AAA depth. Andrew Friedman spoke, I think, at FanFest, talking about how he really likes the AAA team, the staff, the pitching rotation there, because that's going to be a pretty damn lights out staff. And AAA doesn't mean very much. But the other big one, David Peralta signs a 1-year, $6.5 million contract. There's incentives and all of that. Alex Reyes, 1-year deal with an option. Former All-Star closer with the Cardinals. Last time Dodger fans would remember him best is serving up a walk-off bomba to CT3 in 2021 wild card game. I know you put out videos on these guys, but I want to give these people some thoughts. What do you think about these signings? And then we'll get into the kind of ramifications for the roster.
Yeah, I like these signings. I think they're solid signings. I think when you consider the fact they're on a 1-year deal, it's really not a bad 1-year deal out there when you consider the financial muscle of the Dodgers. Also, David Peralta is a veteran. He's a guy that you can pretty much guarantee that he's going to be an average bat. I mean, he's definitely is that outfielder they needed, a left-handed batter that can hit against righties. And also it kind of opens things up to that center field competition, because they're going to platoon David Peralta. And he's a guy that he's really been, you look at his numbers, a 251 average against the Dodgers. I don't believe those numbers, because it feels like he's always getting big hits against LA. He crushes the Padres. Right? He's a guy that defensively won the Gold Glove in 2019, is above average defender. So like I said, you look at the team last year, you had Joey Gallo, an extremely inconsistent bat, a guy you really couldn't count on to go up there and get you hits. Peralta's a guy that has those bat-to-ball skills. I mean, he hit 30 home runs back in 2018. His power has gone down, but if you look at some of his advanced numbers, some of his StatCast numbers, he hits the ball hard. And we know the Dodgers, they value that. What they look at in pitchers and spin rate, when you flip that to hard contact, he definitely does that. And I think you consider that left field position is, to me, he's almost like the Miguel Rojas of the outfield, in that he's a Band-Aid for if Chris Taylor can't figure things out, if guys continue to struggle, if Trayce Thompson, if that clock strikes midnight on him and he is due for that regression. James Outman, I tweeted immediately after, this means that James Outman most likely starts the season at AAA to try to get those reps. And then with Reyes, I think Reyes is one that you should absolutely be excited about. I think that he should change his middle name to If Healthy, because it's Alex If Healthy Reyes. And look, he's electric. That slider is unbelievable when it's on. The walks are an issue with him. A 16% walk rate. Like I said, I mean, he's more wild than a frat party. I mean, this is a guy that somebody walks, my dog starts to get jealous. But like I said, when he's on 97-mile-per-hour fastball, 87-mile-per-hour slider, 30% strikeout rate, if he's healthy, the Dodgers can definitely turn to him for a nice high-leverage situation.
Yeah, I think you said it in one of your one of the videos. It's just all upside, almost zero downside. If this dude does not work out, chances are pretty decent that he can work out for this club, for this organization. Find a way to teach him that Blake Trinan slider, and all of a sudden you have yourself an incredible pickup for dirt cheap. Peralta, you already mentioned it. He's a veteran bat. proven in this league, can't hit lefties pretty much. This is a team that needs just a slugger, a left-handed bat, and a platoon that you could possibly put in the corners, but more likely will stick in left field. And the way it's kind of, I don't know, shaping up to me as we sort of dive into what are the ramifications of one, like what does the outfield now look like? Well, Peralta's probably your left fielder, and that kind of opens up or kind of, I don't know, to me it feels like they're kind of cementing CT3 in center field. You know, we were talking, I don't remember if I mentioned it last week. Well, I know I mentioned it last week when I had my Bradley Zimmer thing. It's like, give me one of the names of the bad players. I think Andrew Friedman heard Dave Roberts talking about that and mentioning Bradley Zimmer, and he's like, oh, shit, I can't allow that to happen. I need somebody. Thank you.
Yeah,
he went and got a guy, you know, get a dude, throw some more competition in there in spring training, which is what we want. They did not, you know, didn't have a bunch of dudes trying to find out where they're playing the last couple of years. You knew what the roster was going to look like, what the lineup was going to look like 150 days out of 162 games. It's something different, and that's what I wanted out of this team. But, yeah, giving yourself a solid platoon option, and hopefully Trace Thompson can become the guy who absolutely rakes against lefties, and that's going to be his main way to stay on the roster with these two, you know, potentially platooning in left field or something like that.
No, absolutely. All great points, Clint. I think going to Reyes, like you said, really there is no downside. It's not a low risk, high reward. It's pretty much a no risk when you consider the money. And really, this is a guy that you couldn't get a pitcher of his caliber unless he did have some red flags. And you're taking advantage of that. And it's really a testament to this Dodgers organization that has developed this reputation around the league. To me, it's the scene from Breaking Bad. He can't keep getting away with this. I mean, the Dodgers keep getting away with this with Noah Syndergaard, with even JD Martinez, guys that want to join this organization because of not only what they can do for this team, but what this team can do for them and the future of their careers, getting them back on track. And I think when you consider the fact that this team doesn't have that defined closer right now, and we know last year they did mention the idea of going closer by committee, but this is a team that definitely likes to have a closer. When you have Dave Roberts running the bullpen, if you had a lights out closer, and let's say Evan Phillips emerges as that closer, you have a guy like Reyes that is electric. He is lights out when he's on and when he's healthy. That can really help this team. So like I said, nothing but upside. That 2024 deal could be an absolute bargain when you consider the reliever market. You talked to me, we were talking off the camera like we do sometimes, and you're talking about the money that Chris Martin got, and I think that was a great point by you.
$17.5 million 2-year deal. That is absolutely insane to get somebody who has better stuff, who's only, what, 27?
Yeah.
Something like that. This is a kid who's a dude who's done it. All-star.
Yeah, no, to me, it's almost like when an NFL coach or a college coach gets fired and he takes the offensive coordinator job at Alabama. That's what it's like going to the Dodgers. It's reliever, rehab. Tyler Anderson got a bag last year. Noah Syndergaard's going to try to get a bag. So the Dodgers, the team that has all the money and resources, are able to get players for lesser money because they believe in their system. So, yeah, I mean, the if healthy thing is a major, major if, but you definitely love that upside, too. And the fact that this is a move for October, for later on. I mean, same thing with Fire Eisen. I mean, they're just trying to get as many lottery tickets and hit on some of these guys and pull these rabbit out of that those Dodger hats.
And that's one of the things this club does best. Andrew Friedman does best. Like you said, it's you're not going to get a pitcher, particularly of that caliber, without some flags attached. You know, we saw it particularly with relief with Blake Trinan. When they signed him, he was not the guy he was when healthy with LA, but he was also not the guy he was during his All-Star, run with the A's. They kind of rebuilt him. They fixed him. They made him more gooder. Another thing, it's not just about Mark Pryor or before him Rick Honeycutt and the whole, pitching, I guess we'll call them stable of pitching gurus or something like that. It's also about the fact that the team just does it better when it comes to strength and training and health and that side of things. If you have a dude like Alex Reyes who's going to keep getting hurt, or not necessarily keep getting hurt but not stay healthy, well, let us come fix you up. Let Brandon McDaniel work his magic on you, and that goes a long way. You stay healthy, you learn a new pitch, you solidify your an opportunity to earn some saves and earn some big money in a couple of years, potentially, with this dude. So, really good move. It's the most Andrew Friedman move you could absolutely have hoped for or planned for. at this stage of the offseason without it being like a massive trade or blockbuster move, which is another one of the moves he likes to do. But fringe move, both of these just improve the depth of the team that much more, because now James Outman, who might have been a dude who's getting time as a not even a starter, but as a part-time dude, a part-time player on the opening day roster, now he can go get more seasoning. He keep hitting at AAA, and then you got two guys where if they don't work out, we were talking before the show, you got ripcord. Give him a leash. Doesn't work out. If you're really falling behind the Padres or the Giants in the NL West, you got some options down at AAA, which with just Outman before you didn't have as much, and creates a opportunity or less opportunity, I guess I should say, for Jason Hayward, but I don't think any of us are very high on him.
Yeah, like you said, I mean,
respectfully.
It gives you some insurance. It's a good contingency plan, but also it creates competition as well. And you want these guys to go earn these spots, and we know that for the most part, it's wide open. Doc said the other day that when it comes to center field, it feels like everyone has an opportunity that is involved. And I think David Peralta is a guy that can help this team. There's no question about it. Reyes as well. So as long as they don't get Danny Duffy'd with some of these guys, I think this team definitely made some nice pickups. And these are the type of moves that you're not going to talk about a lot until you see Reyes in season. He looks nasty, and he throws a ridiculous slider, and it goes viral, and you say, oh, the Dodgers did it once again. So like you said, this has Andrew Friedman written all over. It's the Andrew Friedman special, but what makes this one different is the age and the upside, and that's why I definitely think what a great... I mean, how many teams out there would have signed Reyes to this contract? I would probably think 15, but he's not going to... 15, 16, 17 teams would probably take a flyer on him, but the Dodgers get him, and the rich kind of get richer with a move like this. So yeah, definitely a great move. And also too, you keep the books nice, and you keep the flexibility on the books for future signings. And we know that even though this team isn't cutting salary, they're not looking to add a lot of years in salary as well. Kind of fits with that agenda.
I'm interested in hearing at spring training from Alex Reyes, because what we heard from Noah Syndergaard, one of the things about coming to LA for less money was to work with this coaching staff and get better. And that's a situation where you get somebody like Alex Reyes coming in and having that open mind. Like, yeah, I've been an all-star before, but this organization does something different. I don't know, that kind of pumps me up when people want to be here.
For sure.
Anyways, getting into a few of the comments here. Matthew Martinez says, our bullpen pitching depth is insane. If the offense can't get hot, I like our chances, or can get hot. Can't wait to see Miguel Vargas and James Outman get some reps. I'm starting to just hearing more about Miggy Vargas from a lot of dudes over this offseason. Some of the interviews we've done on the network. Check them out, DodgerNation.com/TV thing, whatever I said. Nailed it. There's a lot of reason to be hype about this kid. Even JD Martinez at the Mookie Bowling thing talking about what working with Miguel Vargas and him just being a really good kid, really good dude, human, and potentially elite bat. I saw a good one here. Max Coon says, best baseball channel from LA. Good looking out with your work, guys. D-Mac is the man. That was the important part.
My man, Max.
Just wanted to get to that. Carnivorous lunar activity. Peralta is greater than Gallo. Easy money.
As we said earlier, absolutely.
Man, you guys remember the Joey Gallo era?
Joey, papa, eating sugar.
No papa.
We got a lot of people, Clint. I mean, a lot of people were kind of priming the segment on the cheating. I feel like we have some guest visitors in the chat. We got Adam over on YouTube who says, Dodgers stole signs just like the Red Sox and Astros did. We got some thoughts on that, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Angie says, we got Alex Reyes for the new closer. He's better than Craig Kimbrell. I pushed back on a little bit. The idea he could be the closer. For my comfort level, a 16% walk rate. You want a guy in there with a little more command. So let's just see what he can do when he's on the mound, and we'll worry about that closer's role later. But I could see him getting, 5, 6, 7, 8 saves. Just
optionality, baby.
Optionality. That's the word of the year for the Dodgers.
That's what our boy Dave Roberts loves. He loves that optionality. But you're going to see saves from Dan Hudson. You're going to see saves when he's healthy from Alex Reyes, and you're going to see some saves out of Evan Phillips. It's not going to quite be closer by committee, but there's going to be a short list for it. Master Austin says Peralta and Reyes are sneaky good moves. Thank you for the comment. Victor says sign Bartolo Colon. Let's go. I only want Bart after he's age 50. I think he's coming up, right? Check the watch. Good? All right, we're good. It's coming up. Teresa checking in from the 805, and I think she said something else that was real nice. I'm going to try to. Oh, she says, love you guys. Love you too, Teresa.
Love you back.
I love you more. Yeah, talking about cheating in here. Hector is predicting an NL MVP season for Freddie Freeman. I like that. Grassman Lawn Care saying, where's the proof source that they cheated? The people want to talk about the cheating. Oh, we got a big one in there. Have you been trying to alert me about this? There's a thing. There's a thing.
It just came right now.
Let's go. Whoa.
Okay,
praise.
Sorry, guys.
Max.
Sorry, guys.
Hold on. Be ready to cheer, boys.
We got a big super chat. MH Dodger for life. $100.
That's nuts.
What up, best podcast, Dodgers Nation, 559 Fresno, cheering beers to you guys from Kings Row Gastropub, just left Glendale, 818, the famous Cheers guys.
My man.
MH.
The more you drink, the more you give us super chat money. So keep chugging along.
Love MH.
My guy, you are MVP.
MHVP.
Yeah, MH.
HRV.
MVP, baby.
Appreciate the hell out of you. As always, anybody wants to leave us a super chat, it'll definitely go into the spring training fund. Yes, the guys and I will be out at spring training starting next week. We will not have a new live stream next Monday because we will be not wanting to spend another day together all here. So instead, we'll be live streaming from Arizona on Tuesday night this summer. Or the spring.
Live.
But stay tuned to all our social media platforms and all that thing, all those kind of things to know when we are doing the thing. So just, just saying. But before we talk about these dirty, stinking, cheating Dodgers.
Ooh. That's a clip.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying. That's what I'm hearing. I want to announce our new and exciting giveaway. That's right. We are teaming with ourselves to give away a Freddie Freeman jersey because we are that excited about the start of spring training. So what I need you people to do is somebody, one of you guys type it into the chat on the side, DodgersNation.com/giveaways. That's with an S. You're going to go DodgersNation.com/giveaways, all the info in there, including a little box on where to enter, how to enter. Enter into that to win the Freddie Freeman jersey. You have 2 weeks to get as many raffle tickets, essentially, was what they equate to. That is where you do the thing, get as many of those, and we're going to pick one lucky winner to win that Freddie Freeman jersey live while we're in Arizona. That winner will be announced here on this stream Monday, the 27th of February. So stay tuned again on how to, when that happens, if you won, that's what you're totally going to do. But if you click on that and you enter, then our boss will love us more. So it's huge. That's like MH donating a whole bunch of money to us, kind of love for us if you guys enter to win that Freddie Freeman jersey, because we really wanted to give it away. We're excited about spring training. We're excited about Dodger baseball. It's back. It's no longer the floor for football. It's the field for baseball.
Field of Dreams.
Again, DodgerNation.com/giveaways. It's somewhere in the comments on how to link to it. Or you guys know how to type. All right. I'm going to let you lead off this whole cheating thing. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
You got this? Because I see a lot of people in the comments. We've seen a lot of people in the comments. We know what we titled this video. Because that's one of the big news is.
So, yeah, basically the Dodgers are now being accused of cheating. And as the quote reads, the Dodgers have always been the thing that bothers me the most because they're the biggest cheaters in the whole expletive industry. They were doing it against us in the 2018 World Series. They got caught by Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball did nothing. So first and foremost, if the Dodgers were cheating in 2018, they didn't do a very good job because they won just one game in that 2018 World Series, and it took them 18 innings to win that one game. It was actually longer than the entire 1939 World Series. So really when it comes to this is it's a lot of hearsay, a lot of baseless accusations with no proof. Now, do I think think that the Astros were the only team cheating in Major League Baseball? I do not. Do I think that the Dodgers are squeaky clean? I think you'd be naive to think otherwise because it's Major League Baseball. And I don't think the Dodgers were cheating on the level that the Houston Astros were, where you are recording we have a camera recording signs in real time, then you're relaying it.
Yeah.
But as this story goes, I mean, were teams using video to decode signs? I think a lot of teams probably were, but I don't think you have a trash can banging situation or anything like that. And you saw in 2017, the Dodgers, they weren't cheating as well. But I don't think there's anything to this. I think right now, I mean, I dug as deep as I possibly could because I thought I was going to have this like epic video project with this, but really there wasn't that much to do. There's just no details. That guy has zero credibility. The only source really that's ever put their name on it is Mike Fiers.
Yeah, exactly. Want to know what made the Astros thing legit is that it came from a member of that team, and that sparked, that sparked something like the reality of like, hey, let's go and have John Boy break this down for everybody and listen to the trash can bangs. But yeah, therein lies that huge thing, the real-time sign decoding and being relayed to the batter. That is what made every team in every sport is cheating in some way. You had how many times and how many different ways the Patriots were caught cheating and whatever. MLB, this is why the Astros didn't really get popped for it that much, because MLB realized we created this problem. We can't take it, like, we can't destroy this team because we created this problem, and other teams were doing it, but this team just did it to an nth degree. So MLB did what they did to try to make a statement, and then they probably like, hey guys, don't do it anymore, please. We can't take any more bad press.
Absolutely. Rob Manfred is a threat to national security, right? I mean, this is a guy that doesn't know how to manage his own league. And I think if you're the Dodgers, it does make things very interesting in that they did hire JT Watkins recently, and of course he was involved in 2018. So
maybe that's the guy from Evan Drellich's book.
Maybe that's Drellich. I mean, who is the unnamed anonymous boss? Is it Mookie? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, who could it possibly be? But the reality is that
breaking. That's a cut. Put that on there. Put that on social media.
Yeah. But yeah, this doesn't exonerate the 2017 Astros. That's what I really hate about all this. People are saying like, oh, I'm totally shocked that the Dodgers were cheating. One, there is no valid proof as of yet. We'll see if more details continue to emerge, but I do think this is a lot of nothing. I truly believe that
it's a nothing burger for sure. I mean, it is an excerpt from I think just released today book. I think, I don't know, but they knew what they were doing to hype this book up in getting these very small quotes out there. And guess what? If the Dodgers are cheating, they're doing a really bad job at it.
I mean, here it goes.
You would think you'd get some more pieces of metal out of it.
No, absolutely. No, that's the thing. I mean, it says Jock Peterson apparently ran into a video room at Fenway Park where teammate Chase Utley and an MLB official were already sitting there and said, hey, did you get the signs yet? So that just sounds just so fabricated. I don't think Jock Peterson, I don't even think he could remember the signs for more than like 10 seconds anyway. Would that really even make a big difference?
Man, he doesn't even remember the lyrics to Ace of Base. Anybody?
Saw the signs.
Saw the signs. It opened up. No. See, the thing is, Jock isn't the most intelligent boy in the room at any given time. I could also understand. I could also imagine him just dicking around with Chase Utley, being like, "Hey, did you get the signs yet?" Just a poorly placed joke or something like that. But at the same time, maybe Chase was in there. Chase, by that point,
I was gonna say though,
you don't know what he's doing.
Jock does have a history of cheating. He cheated Tommy Pham in that fantasy football dispute this past season.
That's a great point.
Huge.
I'm just gonna say
the 5 finger say to the face.
Hey, I'm just saying, questionable for sure.
Damn, that's pretty true. But the family feud, but. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Jock Peterson, Chase Utley, and this whole thing, I just want more. I want more of I want a shred of evidence. Look, Josh Reddick, he was on that team. If he had any details, he would have already written like 10 books about it because we know his ass is out of a job. So if there was any truth to this, I think we would have known about it earlier. I think Cody Bellinger's press conference at spring training when this all came about stealing an MVP from Judge and this and that, and everyone's saying that, oh, Cody Bellinger's numbers fell off after 2018. It's like he actually had his best year in 2019. Yeah. So the timeline doesn't really match up with this. But I will say, I'll sit here right here and say that if details emerge, if there is any evidence, you won't see me being a trash Astros fan saying, cry now, cry about it. I will be just as mad at the Dodgers as their biggest nemesis, because I think that is something that it would look so hypocritical for this team to end up being cheaters, but I just don't see it.
I'm ready for the truth. I'm ready for the facts. If there is anything, I'm ready to hear more from this unnamed source. I would be thrilled to hear the Dodgers cheated and learn about it, because I really want to see like the front office wiggle their way out of that. And sure, starting this week, they're going to have to answer some questions about this, and I wonder what non-answers they're going to give, because they love giving non-answers to a lot of things. But give me some facts, and I'm happy to start looking for the details of these allegations. But until now, all it is one unnamed Red Sox person, not even a player. It's just a Red Sox person.
Hey, but if this is true, we got to call him Jock Cheaterson. If this happens. No, but but yeah, I mean, to me, like you said, I think you brought up the best point in all this is that a lot of people are talking about this book now, and you link the Dodgers as the full 180 turn. That's a big heel turn. Oh, the Dodgers were the ones cheating. That's going to get a lot of people interested. Actually, if you're watching this, and Evan Drellich, which of course you are, I want to see you on this show, because I want to dive into this and really get to the bottom of all of this. But yeah, I just don't see it. And like I said, if they did cheat in the 2018 World Series, they did a piss poor job because they went out in 5 games. They made light work of it. But look, I mean, if you have followed the sport, you know what it was? I was thinking though, is if the Dodgers had known about it in 2018, what the Astros did in 2017, maybe it's almost like the Barry Bonds situation, where, remember Barry Bonds, he saw Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, they get super yoked on the roids, which apparently you guys think I'm on. And what did he do? He ended up getting on the roids, and he ends up setting all those home run records. So it was almost like his revenge. Trevor Bauer, he doesn't do the sticky stuff, and he gets on the sticky stuff, and it's his revenge. Would the Dodgers say, oh, everyone's cheating, now we're going to cheat and get revenge on Major League Baseball? But the reality is, though, the Dodgers didn't know about the 2017 cheating in 2018. That all came to light after that. So, like I said, we would know how much the internet would love. They would just love if the Dodgers got implicated in this. But I just don't, until there's more evidence, someone puts their name on this. Yeah. I'm going to say, like you said earlier, this is a lot of nothing.
Yeah, it's they hate us because they ain't us, and the Dodgers keep winning, and they want anybody wants to find something on this team. They're not as squeaky clean as they look. Not to say the team is squeaky clean. They've got some interesting, skeletons in the closet over the years. Although this ownership group and all that's pretty solid, but still, give us some facts, because if we don't know the facts, we can't shut the up. Thank you. He was ready. He was, that's not bad, because we didn't rehearse that. Proud of you. Hey, somebody drop a like in the chat for Cody. Anyway, Seth Gribble, the only cheating the Dodgers did is with your girlfriend. Oh!
Whoa, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and your grandma. Oh, wait, that's the same person.
Hey.
That's an inside joke here in the office, guys. Thank you. Showtime Dodgers fan says, what cheating Alex Cora invent cheating scam? That's a rough read. That's a rough read. Maybe this unnamed Red Sox person thought thought of Cora from his Dodgers days.
Ooh.
Huh?
I like where you're going with that.
Hell yeah. Let's get into conspiracy theory stuff. Insider.
There you go. Literal insider in your brain.
He initially came up with it. Alex Cora back in 2003 was like, if there was more cameras here, we could steal them. And if there was more trash cans around, we could bang them. And then he was sitting there crossing his fingers. One day it'll all come together for Alex.
Wow.
Show's really going off the rails.
No, I like it though, because I think it's a great theory.
Clint and his controversy.
Let's go.
We got Showtime.
What else can I make up?
What cheating Alex Cora
That's
invention?
what I just tried to read.
Oh my Lord. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Showtime Dodger fan, for a little.
We got Astros. Of course, we're accused by a man who was part of the Astros cheating. If we cheated, there's a lot of cheating there. How much cheat could a woodcut Chuck cheat? No. Would we have won the W's in 2018? David, we got the wrong core brother. That's from David Raw over on YouTube. We got Stay Tubed from Pacific Patriot over there. Yes, I don't like any cheaters from Sarah Morris. So, yeah, I mean... I'm
ready. I'm ready to hear they were cheaters and hear about how it happened.
I know. I don't go on the road instead of beat LA. They're gonna say cheat, LA, cheat. No, the Dodgers did not cheat. I'm pretty confident that they didn't. But I do think in all of Major League Baseball there were they were abusing the video replay system. And to me, as a Dodger fan, I can say unequivocally that was running rampant throughout Major League Baseball, but the Astros took it to an entire other level, and that was the big issue with it. So I think Major League Baseball really has cleaned up its act, hopefully, for the most part, but then they just kind of look for the next way they can try to cheat the system. But yeah, to me, look, I mean, we're in 2023. This was already 5 years ago, and...
No, well, now you sound like an Astros fan.
No, but I'm just saying that...
It happened 5 years
Like I said, I'm down to talk about Titanic and all that stuff, but I just think that we would have heard about something earlier, especially when you consider the bravado that a lot of Dodger fans have. They would have unearthed this sooner than they did.
If there was actually something...
Like, where's the smoking gun?
As much as Josh Reddick, you brought him up earlier, as much as he's been vocal on the line online about the Dodgers cheating, he's like, "Oh yeah, I was there," but he hasn't said anything. He hasn't unearthed anything.
Exactly.
If he really had something by now, you couldn't even hack it in Aussie Ball. Like by now you would have said something, or if he knew how to write, he would have wrote a book. But I don't think he knows that many letters. Josh Reddick, bro.
Yikes. No, but yeah, I think it's just like, what was their gimmick, right?
Thongs.
What was their gimmick? I mean, the Astros used the trash cans. In 2018, they used vibrators, buzzers. They used the buzzers, and then what was the Dodgers thing? I mean, I just don't see it. I think this organization. There's too many. Look, I have to say, there's a lot of good people in this organization, and I think that when you look at gaming the system, would they have abused it to this level? I just think it's funny to hear Jock Peterson and Chase Utley going over there relaying information to other guys in the lineup. It just doesn't make a lot of sense at all. And like I said, I'm very interested to read this book and see if anything comes of this. I think, maybe we're in spring training next week. We should ask. I mean, that's something that might, when it gets to me, it might not be asked yet. So, hey, I'll ask it. Why not? Just say, hey, have you heard about, what are your thoughts on that?
It's going to be asked on Wednesday.
Oh, you think so?
Right away? Somebody's going to ask Dave about it.
I'm curious, though. Like, you guys talked about it. Even if they did cheat it didn't amount to anything because they didn't win anything. So, like, even if in the rare case that I think it actually happens, if they find out that the Dodgers cheated, would it even? I mean, like 5 years, right? It wouldn't matter. They didn't win anything, so it doesn't really matter.
It wouldn't matter, but it does sully the. I
think it would matter.
Of the organization in some way.
No, absolutely. It would matter significantly if they ever were able to prove that they had cheated, because you say, look at this success. The Dodgers are the model franchise. Yes, they have just won one World Series, but some people like myself say, hey, you should get credit for what happened in 2017, or at least a little bit of a mulligan based on what happened that year. And I also think, too, Dodger fans wouldn't be able to say anything about 2017 ever again if they were doing anything similar. So it kind of ends that argument, and it really just would be a bad look on Major League Baseball as a whole. If you're the Dodgers, you already have the best roster. You already have the best coaches and resources. And on top of that, you're going to cheat. I mean, that's just on a whole nother level, right? It's like Barry Bonds. He was a Hall of Famer before he did steroids, and then he did steroids, and then he becomes Thanos, right? So it just takes you to a whole nother level. And just, I don't feel the same juice and buzz behind this. Like when the Astros story first broke, I mean, we knew that there was something there. It doesn't feel like there's anything here.
I talked to a player from that 2017 Dodger team who said, we all kind of assumed something, like we sort of knew something was going on, but the whole league knew something was going on. We got some comments and we got something special.
Super chat.
Let's go.
Carlos A for $5 says, have you seen the iTalk studio video comments are crazy with Astro fans? It's laughable. Astro fans are the worst.
Oh yeah, they're all like pretends to be shocked. You know that kind of that little internet jargon they do, like as if we knew this was gonna happen. I mean, look, we have to figure. We got to call Joey Greco and get him on the scene, see if he can figure out if there was any cheating going on, and then we'll feel better about all of this.
Yeah. No, appreciate the super chat. A couple more good comments in here. Adam Bryant saying, so cheating is okay as long as you don't win. No, I don't agree. And that's what you were kind of asking for the sake of conversation. Appreciate you injecting, but don't ever interrupt my show. Got him. Grassman Lawn Care vibrators. Don't give the Astros any ideas. Hey,
wow.
Sarah Morris, really good point. Can you see Kirsch being a part of cheating? I really can't. I cannot see Clayton Edward Kershaw.
Yeah.
Cheating.
On the 8th day, God created Kershaw.
What
for
you
all
got?
my Christians.
Big ass super chat again.
Oh, man.
Mr.
Holy
Rasa
hell.
Jr. 23 for $100.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Mr. Rasa, you are truly one of the GOATs as well. As a Dodger fan living in Peoria, I hope I'm saying
Peoria. I love Peoria. Hey,
Arizona.
Rest in peace to Giordano's, man. It was right there in Peoria.
Oh,
Really?
man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to seeing you guys and the rest of the Dodger fans at Camelback Ranch. Go Dodgers.
We'll be there.
Mr.
We can't
Rasa.
wait.
Appreciate
Appreciate
you.
Can't wait to meet
That's
the
awesome.
people.
Connect with us out there.
Yeah.
Shoot us a DM somewhere. We want to meet up with some folks while we're out in Arizona. Guess it's a good segue time. We're done talking about cheating because if they don't know the facts, they gotta shut the.
We'll wait.
Thank you.
As soon as the information comes, we're here.
Yeah, we're ready. We'll talk about it. We will dive deep into that. Hell yeah. Like never mind. I'm gonna walk away from all that. Notes. We are going to let's do one cam again. We are going to spring training again. We will be out there. What is that? July? What month are we in? February 21 through March 3rd. The crew will be out in spring training. You can find us at some Dodger games all across Arizona. Another thing I should mention while we're here, hey, we're not going to be here for a couple of weeks. Or if you want to do other things in this place, we rent. All of this is rented, not we, but all of this, like you want to do a podcast, you want to do a live stream, you could do it right in my seat. 110studio.la. It's not like .com. It's 110studio.la. That is the URL. So 110studio.la. We'll eventually get a little graphic for it. But you guys could work here. Not really work here, but you can do your content here. So
could be
that's
you.
a thing. #plug.
Keep this chair warm for me, guys.
Doing a giveaway. Freddie Freeman jersey. DodgersNation.com/giveaways. Now, final segment time. It is spring training time. Pitchers and catchers officially report on Wednesday. Position players report soon after on the 19th, but a lot of players are already out there. These dudes are hyped. They want to get to doing some sportsball, and we want to get to watching some sportsball. But spring training, this team, a lot of change, a lot of positional battles, competition. There's a lot of storylines to be watching this spring at Camelback Ranch, CBR, as we call it in the biz. 3 storylines that you and I guess, all of us, what are 3 storylines? We want to do like one each? Is that a thing? I don't know. What do you guys? How do you want to do it?
What are you guys
We
gonna
didn't
do?
get to the part where we actually figured this out. If we're doing one each or 3 each or.
I got a few here, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty. You probably agree with a lot of them. I think the first one I have is who will win the starting center fielder job, especially coming off the David Peralta signing. You've got a lot of names in the mix. Dave, a few days ago, basically sounded like it was wide open. I think with the signing of Peralta, that kind of shifts that competition with you have Will Chris Taylor being a great spot to play center field. To me, for a guy that's trying to figure out his offense and get his swing back on track, I think the answer is no. I'd probably rather see him in left field. Trayce Thompson, to me, is the biggest question because he did play in all 4 of the Dodgers NLDS games, but he ends up going 2 for 13, 3 walks, had 6 strikeouts. Will he regress? Because his numbers, pretty much every single number points to him turning into a pumpkin pumpkin and the clock striking midnight on that Cinderella man, because a 621 OPS versus lefties. He was supposed to be a lefty killer, has a 621 OPS versus southpaws, and against righties has the OPS over 1,000. He hit the ball hard. He punished mistakes, but is he truly a regular Major League Baseball player? That is something that is one of my big questions. And then you talk about Jason Hayward, a guy that Freddie Freeman had a big role in bringing to this team. They're locker room mates. Is he going to get an opportunity to play, or is he just going to be a bench guy that kind of makes the team? You have Bradley Zimmer, you have Steven Duggar, and then, of course, you have James Outman. And
we can see any of those other two dudes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just funny to think that about how this is truly a wide open competition. I think it's pretty clear at this point. Trace Thompson is going to get the opportunity to start things, see if he can pick up to where he left off. If he can't handle the job, then you look elsewhere to a Chris Taylor. But I think you'd rather have platoon Chris Taylor and Peralta in left field. And I think I'm hoping that James Outman gets an opportunity. I really do. I think has nothing to prove at the minor league level. He's shown that in those 4 games in the show that he was able to hit big league pitching. The only issue is, can he hit lefties? But we're not going to know if he can do that unless he gets more opportunities. So this trade really, this signing of Peralta really indicated to me that they're not as high on Outman as a lot of Dodger fans are.
Yeah, no, it's a good point there. Center field absolutely is one of the biggest storylines for this spring training. I think ultimately what the opening day roster looks like is not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, because I'd put it 50-50 chance right now that the Dodgers trade for Brian Reynolds at the deadline or something like that. If it don't work out, Andrew Friedman's ready to go make a deal. Hey, maybe they go trade for a rejuvenated Cody Bellinger back from the Cubs. One of the best teams we ever saw in this generation was the 2017 Dodgers, and that team had Chris Taylor as their starting center fielder. I would not be surprised to see at this point, if up the middle on the infield can handle what this team wants him to handle. Like before the Miggy Rowe trade, Miguel Rojas, if you don't know him, before that Rojas trade, CT was getting a lot of time at second base. Now they want him to stay as a for sure outfielder. That's just my opinion on it. I do think he takes over, and I do think you're going to see Jason Hayward on this team, because it feels to me like they were really going for a certain type of character this offseason to put in that clubhouse. If they are going to change, they're going to make as big of a change as they did, not bringing back JT, not mainly the JT thing, just that kind of drastic change. They wanted a significantly different feel in the clubhouse, and that's where you see Peralta, but you see JD Martinez and all that kind of stuff. I guess I'm going a little off the rails on that one. Anyways, I think CT takes that job and runs with it, because in my opinion, the other big storyline is going to be up the middle. It's going to be Gavin Lux. It's going to be, what can Miguel Vargas do at second base? I don't know if this is just me being hopeful, so I want to run it by you, but I don't know. A couple months ago, I started feeling like, hell yeah, it's Lux season. Let's go. I think he can handle short. He's been playing it all his life. He's playing with the best level of coaching, in the game as a major leaguer. So he's never been older. He's never been better than he is right now. Now's the time for him to take over at short and just run with it. And Miguel Vargas, these people are high on him. So we're going to learn that a storyline is we're going to learn that the team was right to go this path, to let Trey Turner walk, to let all of the shortstops sign elsewhere and go with this tandem. Give me your thoughts on that real quick. Go ahead. I had nothing. It was all just off the cuff.
No, absolutely.
It's the way we do it.
No, I think that to me, if you had to pick one of the biggest storylines, it absolutely is the shortstop position. Because if Lux can get it done in short, it's going to go a long way to fortifying this infield. Because Gavin Lux, to me, what I look at is the leaps he's made at the plate. I mean, first 2 years combined, a 74 WRC plus. 2021, he struggled as well. Last year, he had the big breakthrough, a 113 WRC plus, a 3-win season. You saw him continue to make strides. If he hadn't had gone injured, I think you would feel even better about Lux at the plate this year. But can he handle the position defensively? Well, look, he's an athletic guy. Last year, he led the National League with 7 triples. I think he does have the requisite range to get the job done. Doesn't have the strongest arm, plays that position, a lot of physicality and athleticism. But to me, I think you're going to see it's going to be this symbiotic relationship with what does Lux do at the plate and how does that impact his defense. I think if he starts the year strong at the plate offensively, I think he'll continue to grow and you'll live with any mistakes he has defensively. Look, Lux is going to have that occasional error where he's had guys that look in his face where he just looks like deer in the headlights. He's looking off into space. And then he's going to make a highlight play too or do something at the plate that you're going to start feeling better about it. But like I said, if he can prove that he can handle that position, that lets you have Max Muncy at third base. You're feeling good about it. And Miguel Vargas has a spot at second base. But with this team, this veteran-laden group, to have an infield that inexperienced and that young, that is the biggest question for me, because you're talking about a team that is a World Series or bust team with championship aspirations. And yes, Miguel Vargas, he is a guy that is athletic. I mean, if you look at his sprint speed, Miguel Vargas in the 94th percentile. Yeah. He's put in tons of work this offseason, and he's hit at every single level. And that's something that I always look at for minor league guys. Is there a time period where you went up a notch and you went down? Well, for him, he's consistently raked throughout his minor league career, and I think that defensively, it's going to be an adjustment for those guys to build that chemistry. But I think for Gavin Lux, the good thing is you got a Miguel Rojas, a guy where if it's not working out, you know he can play that position at an elite level. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking about a franchise that's had premium elite shortstops, whether offensively or defensively, for the last 5, 6, 7 seasons. To go to Gavin Lux, a guy that Andrew Friedman said that he's very excited for. Andrew Friedman said he's the most excited for Gavin Lux. That tells me that you're going to see a 2021 like runway that they gave him at second base, but at shortstop in 2023.
Yeah, it's his job to lose. He's got to stick it. You got to stick with it. Be the best.
What are your thoughts?
And not let the noise get to him, because when he makes errors, Gavin Lux, particularly when he's going to make errors, the media is going to jump on him a whole lot more than they would Trey Turner, because like, is this the right guy? If he makes a throwing error, oh, he can't throw from short. He has that narrative following him. Like, can he tune that out? Can he keep? I hope he stays off social media this whole season. To be honest, he had a pretty good time of it staying off, early last season. But anyways, you were gonna say?
Well, I hope not, because that's the only way I contact Gavin Lux with the DMs on Twitter. So just go on to talk to me, Gavin. But no, I think you bring up some fantastic points. Is that is a pressure cooker of a position. To be a shortstop, it's like being the quarterback. It's a premium position. It's a glamour position. And the reality is, as of right now, he's not a proven commodity. He has to prove not only to fans, not only to this team, but to himself that he's an everyday big league shortstop. It's one of the most difficult positions to play on the field. And then you add the fact that you have the restriction on this shift. So is this really the best year to break in a new shortstop? Hey, but that's the reality. And the best thing about all this, though, is if the Dodgers find a guy that is an above-average bat that can play a competent shortstop, that opens things up for other positions. It allows them to throw buku bucks, as my grandma would say, at Shohei Ohtani, where you don't have to go out there and spend $300+ million on a shortstop where they're probably going to be playing that position at an above-average level for maybe 3 or 4 seasons at best. To me, I'm not a big pay my shortstops premium money guy, because the regression at that position defensively, when you look at the metrics, is usually a pretty steep drop-off. So, yeah, I think it's worth the risk. I think it's worth this early season tryout for Gavin Lux, and I do think that's why you traded for. You only traded for Miguel Rojas. You traded for him. You gave him an extension, and they did that because they realized how important it is to have a guy that can play that position. But I want to get your thoughts on just him as a defender. I always respect your opinion on defense, because I feel like a lot of fans always offense. They don't realize that, hey, run prevention is sometimes as good, if not better, than run production. What are your thoughts on him just as defensively? What are your takes on G Lux?
Well, they say defense wins championships. I never heard that one. I wish the Eagles would have heard that one in the second half of last night's game. But But a little too soon. Go Birds. It was fly Eagles, not fly Eagles fly. It was bye Eagles bye. I think a lot of the pundits have brought it up this offseason when trying to sell themselves and sell the fan base on the Gavin Lux experience. The reality is, this is a position he's played all of his life. Not everybody is as good at moving around, even if it is just from short to second. That is a very different throw. He's a dude that I would say struggles with his throws, but more so struggles with his mechanics. And that's a pretty drastic change from you're moving. Usually it's short. You have a back end, but still you have that play. You have that in your brain where first base is. But otherwise, everything else is kind of to first base. So you have a throw in front of you, not needing to make that reverse pivot turn throw. So a lot of his damage has been, or his hiccups have been making, or at second base on the throws. I think that's something that just helps him mentally a whole lot. And we know the kid has range. We know the kid has wheels. We know he's a good looking dude. He's a baseball player, whatever, 5'9", 5'10". He's not too short, not too tall. Great shortstop frame to make some plays. The biggest thing is just going to be that mental. The talent is there. It's going to be the mental.
Yeah, it's about putting it all together. You talk about a guy who's dealt with yips in the past, but I think that was a fantastic point about the angle. I mean, I think when you see him at the second base position, when he missed some of those throws, it's simply because he's not planting his foot and stepping into those throws. I mean, when you play in that shortstop position, a little more momentum to first base, I think you have a lot of confidence in who is at first base in Freddie Freeman. I think that's going to help a lot. And I also think, too, I think that the fact that there is no Trey Turner, I think that there is no Corey Seager, guys who he did learn from, and he did play 56 games at shortstop in 2021. I think that's crucial and a confidence booster for him too. But I think this is the year where we say, hey, is Gavin Lux going to be a dude? Is he going to be a core member of this franchise moving forward? Because look, just a year ago, how many Dodger fans dangled him in trade talks, wanting to trade him for guys like Luis Castillo or stuff like that? Who would ever think of that? But I think too,
he's still available, I hear.
No, but I think Gavin Lux as a core piece, a guy that came up top prospect in all of baseball. That was his position growing up. That's where he came up through the system. And I think, too, he is a guy that he really, really operates off of confidence. And if you give him that confidence and you say, hey, this is your position, I think that can go a long way with Gavin Lux. But to me, like I said, it's all about what he does at the plate. If he's raking at the plate, that's going to carry over to his defense.
Yeah, for sure. And if he's doing well on defense, that's going to translate to the plate in some way, shape, or form. I will note, one of the things Freddie Freeman talked about at FanFest, when it comes to the shift, like I honestly also think the elimination of the shift is going to help Lux a lot on defense, because I forgot who talked about it at FanFest. I think it was at FanFest, but they said, it was your interview with James Outman. It's like you play this whole way your entire life, and then you get to the major leagues, and there's somebody playing in right field. There's somebody right up the middle where that's been a base hit all your life. Well, with Lux, he grew up all his life playing short in the shortstop position, not playing over at second base. So that's a pretty big enough change for him there. But going back to the idea of playing second base and that throw, Freddie talked about how it's going to be a change for him with the elimination of the shift of a second baseman not being right behind him, with the left-handed hitter. Like, that's a lot of change for Lux to be in that position where, you are essentially almost playing a deep first base, and then trying to make that awkward throw right there. And as a shortstop, usually you kind of got to get on that throw. First base is right there, so you're going to be more likely, you'd have more of a tendency to be like, whatever, and then he would lose some of those balls. But anyways, apparently we could talk about Lux for an hour, and we're going to have a whole lot of talking about Lux for the rest of the season and a whole lot at spring training. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, knock on desk, getting him back on the show again. But yes, moving on. We've only talked about 3 points here. We got to talk about one more. I feel like you're somebody that would say, potentially, I don't know. I know a lot of people say starting pitching is like one of the other big storylines. To me, it's not. Starting pitching is pretty hammered out. But what's your take on starters, and is that something that would be your third storyline?
I think depth is the name that comes to mind when it comes to the Dodgers starting pitching. I don't think you're seeing those super ace level starters that are those horses that can carry you through a postseason run. I think Julio Reyes is a guy that is going to want to put himself in a great position to get paid. I can see him having a top 5 to 10 season if everything breaks right for him. Maybe he wins the Cy Young Award and hopefully at the very least makes his first All-Star team. But I love the depth that the Dodgers have. I think Clayton Kershaw is a guy that you can pencil in for at least 110 to 130 innings. I think the big wild card is Noah Syndergaard. Does Noah Syndergaard figure things out? Does he regain some of that velocity? Does he start to pitch like the ace that he once was? That to me is the big question. Also, will the young guys continue to emerge? Will you see not just the super young guys, the Millers or the Stones or some of those guys that could get opportunities later on the year? I'm talking about the Dustin Mays and the Tony Gonsolins. Can they truly be those middle of your rotation guys in a World Series contending rotation? Because, I do feel good about this rotation because of the depth that they have. But to me, what I'm monitoring throughout the season is, do they need that one extra horse to really carry them through the postseason? Will you see a Yu Darvish or a Max Scherzer type trade where they think, hey, we need one more guy because you don't have Walker Buehler this year? Buehler is going to be out for the entire season, presumably. Miracles can happen, but this is a team that they look for those frontline guys. But I think the youth, it makes it very intriguing. I think Noah Syndergaard makes it very intriguing. You lose Tyler Anderson, but I feel good about the depth. And like I said, later on in the year, will Ryan Pepiot, Bobby Miller, Gavin Stone, will one of those 3 guys step up and have an impact? Because that could go a long way. So, I do think, though, maybe if I'm all in, I'm pushing all my Dodger blue chips in the middle of the table. Maybe if a starting pitcher is available that's ace level and you think that's the missing piece, that's what I would target at the deadline.
I mean, even right now, Michael Wacha is still available. He's a top free agent pitcher still available. I mean, they're spending money now. I don't think they go that route. I don't know. Maybe I'm just somebody who has a lot of faith in this front office's ability to turn Noah Syndergaard into some semblance of Thor. Maybe he's not going to be, OG 2015 Thor, but if he can, I wanted a dude who was just going to be, 130 inning guy. If he can become a 160 inning guy, that goes a long way. We know Ryan Pepiot is going to get his innings. Michael Grove, big fan of Grove. He's going to get his innings. Gavin Stone, this is going to be his year. And guess what? Bobby Miller is going to get a lot of opportunity on this club. But there's still Dustin May and there's still Tony Gonsolin. Tony Gonsolin, by the way, an all-star in 2022. I'm feeling a lot more, bullish. I like this rotation. However, the bullpen gives me some frightens, because you look at some of these names. It's like, we're all excited about Alex Reyes, but you are entering a season where, or at least a spring training where, we're mentioning Daniel Hudson as somebody who has the potential of getting a lot of saves, which means he's going to get a lot of opportunities. This is Daniel Hudson, a guy who almost was out of the league a number of times in his career because of injuries and ineffectiveness and all of that. So that's a little frightening. Evan Phillips, does he turn back into a pumpkin? He's had one good year. Relief is the most volatile job in all of baseball. We've seen one and dones in this league. Is he going to be EP again in 23? Little scared on that one. Yancy Almonte. Enough said on that one. I love the dude. Very good stuff. Is another guy who thrived just having his pitch mix altered or refined by the team and thriving from there. But he's somebody who, dealt with a lot of injuries last year, but also in his career, it's never really been the guy. Beyond that, Alex Vesia is another one. He's proven himself now 2 years in a row. That's good. That makes you feel a little bit better. But just Alex Vesia and the bullpen isn't going to get it done. They spent money. We barely talk about Shelby Miller on this show for a reason, but he's somebody they gave a major league contract to. Alex Reyes isn't going to be a guy we see for a while. Brusdar is entering a very important year in his season in his career. Are you going to be somebody that makes money in this league or just bounces around being I guess a bullpen innings eater ? But also, can you stay healthy? And then beyond that, that's how angry I am. You have just a bunch of random dudes. Apparently, I wrote down Caleb Ferguson twice. That's how much faith I have in him. But the team didn't have that much faith. But you got Ferguson, you got Vigon, Justin Brule. That's a no from me, dog. And then two it hurt dudes with Fireisen and Blake Trinan, who we're not going to see this year. Bickford. Bickford, really? I don't like that bullpen. There's a lot of if these dudes work, but that's just too many ifs.
I think there are some big questions, and you do have to bank on the fact that guys are going to be able to replicate the success they had last year. Guys like Evan Phillips and Yency Almonte, guys that had breakout years for the Dodgers. But I personally think the bullpen's going to be a strength for this team. I think Shelby Miller is going to be this year's Evan Phillips. If you look at that high strikeout rate he had, if you look at some of his plus pitches.
He also had a 6.5 ERA in his 4 games or whatever last year.
Struck out almost 50% of the batters he faced. I mean, he got
6
guys.
ERA.
But the disparity between he had a 6.43 and like a .40 FIP. I mean, he had a crazy disparity.
No, FIP wasn't that good either. But even so, I don't remember if it was that good.
He had a .40 FIP. It was insane. But I think that this Dodgers bullpen. I think you consider the fact that Daniel Hudson is a guy that struck out over 30% of the batters he faced last year. And they had Craig Kimbrell last year. And Craig Kimbrell was a train wreck for the most part. And I called him Cardiac Kimbrell for a reason, right? I mean, Craig Kimbrell was a guy that he put the Dodgers through a lot of tense moments there, and the fact that you have guys that I think really are in the prime of their careers versus the tail end of their careers, that to me is something that I'm very encouraged by. I mean, Daniel Hudson, you talk about Alex Vesia, you talk about Yency Almonte, a guy that has totally ditched that 4-seamer for that 2-seamer slider, and he's been unlocked by this Dodgers organization. Evan Phillips, he was a top 5 reliever in all of Major League Baseball last year. That slider, that cutter is filthy. So I think it really just comes down to, can they emerge and can they lock down those roles? But I think this bullpen as a whole has a lot of quality arms, and I think too that that's the easiest fix. I mean, they went out and got Chris Martin, and he was bad with the Cubs. He ends up being a baller with the Dodgers. You can go out there and get bullpen pieces and find guys.
I mean, for every Chris Martin, there's also several Ryan Matsons and John Axfords.
Yeah, I mean, Matson looks like Dan Patrick.
Hey, no, who was that one guy that they signed last year who just signed with, I think, the Tampa Rays or something? We did a huge article about him. He's a nobody, former Pirate. Thanks for participating. That's how memorable that guy is. The Dodgers, their batting average is not very high.
Heath Embry?
Heath Embry, my dude. Yeah.
I gotta do all the work here.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Noah.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more of those kind of guys.
But if they do need to fill in a piece, they'll go out there. I mean, the Chris Martin was a 1-for-1 big league trade with Zach McKinstry. I think you consider the high end talent on this team, the upside guys. You don't have those stalwarts, the Blake Tryans because he's injured, the Kenley Jansen's because he's obviously on another team. But you do have a lot of talent on this team in general. And I think, too, this is the year where without that truly defined closer, I still think Daniel Hudson will lead the team in saves. I think that allows them to mix things up. Brusdar Graterol was trending in the right direction. Look, let's be honest. We talk about the starting rotation. It doesn't really mean much when you're going 5 innings, turn and burn. And if it's, I mean, who's going to be this year's innings eater like Tyler Anderson was? I mean, everything changes, of course, regular season to postseason. But I think that, I mean, Gavin Stone, how about Gavin Stone? He's a guy that he was a closer in college. He knows how to play that role. Maybe they use him as a multi-inning reliever. So I think if you look at the entire system, the talent that they have some lethal bullpen arms, but it's just a matter of guys continuing on the success they had last year. Because as you said, I think you brought up the best point. I mean, bullpen pieces, they're volatile. They're more MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice, the one-hit wonders, than they are, Tupac, Jay-Z, and Biggie's. I mean, their year-to-year success can be so up and down, but that's where you have to trust this organization and putting guys in the best position to have success, whether it be refining their pitch mix, whether it be how they're attacking hitters, identifying something with their release point, how they're getting off the mound. So I think you got to trust this organization. I think to me, I'm more concerned about the starting rotation in when it matters most than I am the bullpen during the start of the season. But a lot of young guys, and we'll see who can step up and really fill those roles. But Evan Phillips, I think it's a little pressure on Evan Phillips. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the guys who has the most pressure. But, you know, I've seen him a few times this offseason. Seems like he's calm, cool, collected, accountant.
Vice principal accountant, yeah.
And you know what, I guess I should slightly step back on the premise of my concern. It's not a spring training storyline so much. I guess that's more of a season storyline, the bullpen, to me, because all of them you're not going to take, or you're going to take 5 spring training games from a pitcher with a grain of salt. You know, if Evan Phillips shows up and gets in 6 games and gives up 40 runs, he's still going to be on the opening day roster, and he could go out and put up, a similar season that he had last year. But I just think there's, in the spirit of a storyline, there's a lot of ifs in that bullpen. In my humble analyst opinion here,
but I actually think it's a good. I think you brought up a great. I like that. Oh, there you go.
Bringing the throwing back. There's my pen.
I do think it's a spring training storyline because we do need to find out who's going to get those final 3 outs. And let's not forget, last year during spring training, they went out and traded A.J. Pollock for Craig Kimbrell. So clearly they were looking to zero in on that position. And we'll see who truly emerges and how they deploy guys during spring training. And I want to see, can some of these young guys step up and go after, Ryan Pepio's a guy. If you look at how much depth this starting rotation has, if some of these young guys want to get opportunities, could be out of the pen.
Yeah. I would not be shocked in the slightest if we see Bobby Miller in the bullpen by August, something like that. You know, especially if the bullpen's not working out, but the rotation is doing well. He's going to get his starting opportunities at the big league level for sure, but the rotation needs to stay alive in some capacity to create those other ones. And then, you get into August and September if a lot of things go well. JP Fireeisen comes back and is healthy. Alex Reyes is back and healthy and throwing some friggin' strikes. Maybe a Blake Trinan. Don't ever expect to see him again, to be honest. Maybe a Walker Buehler comes back in time to make it to the bullpen. This is, again, more into the ifs, but again, that's more season than spring training, but it is spring training time. And there's a lot of Dodger talk for you. Look at that. It wasn't a bunch of BS mumbo jumbo. That was
hey, hashtag
just
here,
BS.
Hashtag here to play.
Oh, we didn't talk about that.
It's not too late to change that.
Hey, the hashtag is bland, but it's okay. It's a bland season for the Dodgers. We like that.
Here to play with our emotions all season long.
Oh,
that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Are they? What do you? Yeah. Hopefully they're here to play in October.
This feels like, as we're ending this, noises and whatever, just random shit. It feels like real bad AM radio. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. You can find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. We appreciate the hell out of all of your comments, all of your questions, all of your participations, all of your super chats go a long way in here, which is our hearts, if that's where they're still located. Do subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are a podcast that is in all the podcast platforms. Do subscribe to Dodgers Nation on YouTube, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the bell. Leave a like, do the subscribe and all the comments thing. It really helps out. It really helps out the channel. Goes a long way. I'm Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is, you have something?
Giveaway. Remember to get the giveaway.
That guy's DMAC_LA on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you go sign up to enter to win our giveaway. DodgersNation.com/giveaways. It's a cool Freddie Freeman jersey made by Nike. It's totally a legit thing. We're not buying it from the swap meet. I promise. It's real. I picked it out myself. That's all I got. We'll see you in spring training. Bye.